Hi, it's me again, and I'm back in my kitchen in my normal spot to do a Flosstube video. I have my coffee. I'm back on track. I'm back to being normal. No more doing Flosstube videos on the floor in the corner of my bedroom, not able to talk loud. Sorry about that if you had trouble hearing me talk, but everything was just, you know, sneak in a video if I could. I feel like I'm back to somewhat of a normal schedule. I'm a little off. You know, if you watched my videos before, my brother-in-law flew in from Las Vegas and stayed here for almost 5 months. I thought he'd be here for a month to help me, you know, with my linen business with needle and flax. And he was willing to stay longer. He actually said he was having a lot of fun. Eventually he will move to northern Michigan, but he doesn't plan on doing that for a couple years. So he was kind of like a temporary resident, and we were very busy and got caught up on a lot of stuff. I only have, I think, 27 orders waiting on their 40 count, which has arrived. So if you are, well, not just 40 count, I have some orders that have been waiting on some other counts as well, but I just got a linen delivery yesterday that included 40 count, and I have more on its way. So if you're waiting on an order, I would guess your order will ship within the week. So no need to email me. Yeah, so that's that. I've kind of been a little off this week because for the last 2 years, because of COVID, I have not been alone in my house even one day, even 1 hour, not once. Our schools never shut down, but my daughter Natalia, who at the time was a sophomore when well, it was the end of her freshman year when the state shut down schools in the spring. And then they went back her sophomore year, but there was a lot of regulations and rules and stuff. And she tried to go back. She really had a problem wearing that mask all day. It was making her feel ill. They didn't give breaks. You know, you could never pull it down. There was no air breaks. There was no going outside and getting a breath of fresh air and blah, blah, blah. So she tried it for about a month. She was having a lot of stomach aches and headaches and, you know, not easy. So she chose to do, one of the options our school district did was online school. She did it that whole year. And they started her junior year. The regulations were relaxed a little bit, but there was still masking if you were in school, and you still have the option to do online for the first semester. She worked ahead so that she can graduate early. She's now a senior and she's back in school. But basically for that 2 years, she was home with me. So I was doing these videos, which she didn't care. I would just tell her I'm doing a video and she'd be upstairs or whatever. So between that and everybody being home on the weekends, literally, you know, I have not been alone for even one day. And it's very bizarre feeling. This is the very first week in 2 years that I have not had a person in the house. I mean, I've got pets here, but it's just weird. It's good. But yeah, so my week has been a little bit off because I have been working, trying to figure out how to go back to that schedule of being alone and doing everything myself. So I'm a one-woman show again. And not having all the linen to fulfill waiting shop and customer orders. So I've been dyeing and ironing and doing stuff, but not really able to like push stuff out the door this week. And I kind of need a little downtime. So I was kind of quitting a little early this week and getting some stitching done. My brother-in-law last weekend, he was supposed to leave Saturday, and my thought was, oh, I'm just going to like lock myself in my bedroom. I don't want to see people. I don't want to, you know, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to binge watch some TV. I'm going to stitch. I'm not cooking. I mean, I cooked every night when he was here. I'm like, I'm not cooking. I'm not doing anything. Well, when I went to bed Friday night, he had gotten a text that his flight was canceled. So he was actually here on Saturday, and our routine while he was here was Saturdays we would usually run a few errands and either go out to lunch or sort of in between lunch and dinner and do a meal out every Saturday. And then, you know, like Saturday night was kind of grab whatever, or we do grilled cheese or something. So Saturday was kind of a day off while he was here. And so last weekend, with him actually being here Saturday and not leaving till midday Sunday, I didn't get that weekend of, I don't know, me time. And I really haven't had much time this week. So I think this weekend I'm gonna be doing some stuff. I got a little bit of Christmas out, little tiny bit. My kids had me put the tree up on November 1st. I don't want to hear it if you don't like it. I kind of do things different. I have a new hutch back here. Right now it looks like I put my pewter in there. Looks like Paul Revere's coming for Christmas, you know, doing a colonial thing in the kitchen. So I might do some of that, some house cleaning. This house is filthy. I need to clean up. I need to pull out some Christmas and check that off my list. Because I just want it done, and I just want to enjoy any time I have off. I want to enjoy the Christmas season. The whole fun is the lead up, right? The baking, the prepping, the wrapping, the shopping. It's not always fun, but with my kids, we always have a lot of fun doing it. And it's felt weird. Yesterday it was 75 degrees here. I was working all day. I was trying to get outside. I need to rake some leaves because we're supposed to get some rain and snow mix this weekend. And I just didn't get out. And I know that was the last warm day. There's small amounts of snow in the forecast for next week, but it's been very warm here. So doing the Christmas has felt odd because I feel like living where there's 4 seasons, unless it's chilly and cold and sputtering snow, it just doesn't feel right to be sunny and warm and wearing a short sleeves shirt and putting up Christmas. I mean, I did it for years when I lived in California and Vegas, but I've lived in 4 seasons for so long. I just don't think I could ever do Christmas again in a warm climate. Yeah, it's not Christmas to me. So now it's starting to, I'm hoping this week it kind of feels like that, and that, you know, I can kick on some Christmas music and menu plan my Thanksgiving and all of that good stuff. So that's my rambling. That's my, that's it. That's my introduction. Okay. I'm actually able to project my voice out loud, which is fantastic, because when I was doing those videos in my room, I was like, and this is what I've been stitching on, because I was doing it so early in the morning and there's people everywhere and I didn't want the interruptions and it was a mess. So if you go back and binge watch any of my videos, just ignore those. Ignore the first one and all of the ones where I'm sitting on the floor. They suck. So actually, I think I forgot something. Hold on one second. Okay, now I think I have everything. You would think I'd be organized because I've been thinking about doing this, and of course I forgot some of my stitching. And at the end, I'll tell you a little bit of shop update, because I am going to upload some colors and counts on the website, and so I'll kind of tell you what I have planned if you're looking for linen, and maybe tell you a couple shops that have recently gotten boxes, but I'll do that at the end. Okay, so what have I been stitching? Oh, okay, I have a huge basket here and it's like up high. So I am going to, I don't know what I showed you I stitched last time. I haven't been in the mood for Christmas, of course. But I did stitch a little bit on, I'm going to put on my reading glasses. Now I can actually see. I did stitch a little bit on, and I think I showed you last time. Excuse my reaching around here. I'm not totally prepared. I'm just not that good. Okay, so this is Stacy Nash, Wonderful Life, Pin Keep Drum. This was a country sampler exclusive. At some point, it'll be available for everybody if you're not in the Stacy Nash. Everybody does that. The Stacy Nash Club. I love this one, and I worked a little bit more, I think, since the last time I showed you. I started working on the house and a little bit of the border, and I got Urfel done. So I got Urfel in the pot. I'm still part of the tree. This is actually really fun, and I think maybe I can get it done this season. Maybe. Or at least, there's no way I'm going to finish it into a drum this year, but you never know. I think there's one more coming out in that series. She has not done, so there was a spring one, this is Christmas, and there was a patriotic one that was just released a couple months ago. So the only one left I would think would be fall, which, oh, Stacy does fantastic fall and Christmas. Well, she does everything fantastic, but I can't wait to see what the next one is. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know. I could see doing all those drums all year long because I would love them all stitched and put on the little pedestal. So worked on that. Then I think in my last video, I talked about Sampler September. Well, maybe 2 videos ago, and how I just wasn't in the mood. I was wanting to do fall and holiday and all this stuff. So then after that video, of course, September's over. We're in October. I should be stitching fall, and I'm totally in the mood for samplers. Not my fall stuff. So I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, well, what sampler should I pick up? Because I'm totally in the mood. I had a lot of people comment on that video because I was like, I'm never doing Sampler September again. A lot of people were like, Sampler Summer, Sampler this, Sampler that. How about, they were kind of like, I'm totally with you. I love Sampler September, but it's just sort of an odd time of year. And quite a few people said, and I think even Carol Saltbox had said this, that spring would be a great time for samplers because a lot of us don't really stitch a lot of spring things. I don't. I think I have a couple of patterns with some rabbits that are kind of in my future radar. But other than that, I don't really decorate for spring. My kids have Easter baskets. That's about where it ends. I kind of bring in some brighter colors into the house, but nothing like, I don't really decorate for spring. So I'm not really thinking of decor stitching. And here, the snow doesn't melt sometimes until April. And so I think I am going to, really focus. It's going to be Sampler Spring. So maybe we'll do a hashtag. I don't know. I don't want to step on any Sampler September or Sampler September soiree, toes. But I think I'm going to work on samplers in the spring. That'll be my main focus. Because in the summer, I do like doing patriotic. And I think I am going to really bump up my fall and Christmas stitching into the summer. Because, right now I'm working on some stuff. It's not going to be done to put out for this year for decorations. And, I'd like to have stuff done that I could actually put out. I always think of my decorating like months ahead of time and just kind of dream about it and think about, what am I going to do? Oh, I can pull this out. I can pull that out. And it would kind of be nice to have some new finishes next fall and for next Christmas that I can actually use that year. So when I'm doing it in the season, there's no way it's getting done that year. I get progress, but it's not getting done. So I was thinking about what sampler should I pull out because I was totally in the mood. And one thing that's a total travesty is my one biggest unicorn was always Ann Rayner. And I had a lovely friend give me the chart when I first started doing these videos. And it sits a lot of times. The reason it sits is there's a lot of color changes. And sometimes I just don't have the focus or the mood to be doing a lot of that. But I thought, you know what? I need to get it on my wall. Probably of all the samplers I have, this is one of the #1 ones I want finished and I want on my wall. So I pulled out Ann Rayner. She is out of print, so I'm not even showing the chart. I know a lot of people have asked McKenna at 1884 Stitchery to see if she can reproduce it. She did a Instagram video quite a long time ago. She says she's tried and it's just not going to happen, at least for now. You never know in the future. But this is what I worked on, Ann Rayner. And another thing that I forgot, actually, so I worked a little bit on the alphabet and I finished that little tree and then I kind of just worked down so that I could get to the house and the grass. And I figured that way, if I'm not in the mood for all the color changes and things like that, there's a lot of fill-in at the bottom. And I'm doing this on 40 count dirty teacup. I didn't remember until I pulled this out that I have it on a huge piece that could be cut. And I'm telling you, this linen is like gold. I have not had any 40 count to stitch on of my own linen. So I need to cut this so that if I want to use some dirty teacup, I've got some. So, and then I pulled out too, just to show you, a lot of people, before I got the Ann Rayner chart, you know, one of the big things is we'll do Sarah Stewart Hardman by Needlework Press. I have it. I have all the threads. It is similar to Ann Rayner. It's got a similar style house, the people, the pastoral, a lot of the same colors. I will do both, but I was like, but it's not Ann Rayner. But, you know, there's a point to it. I mean, if you can't get your hands on Ann Rayner, this is the next best substitute. And it's a beautiful chart. And at some point, I'll do this one too. Not yet, though. And I think I may have mentioned, you know, Ann Rayner is charted in some very bright colors. And there's a Plum Street conversion. It's a silk conversion that's a little more deep. It's gorgeous. It's on the Plum Street Samplers blog. And I debated what colors to do it with, whether I should do the conversion or the called for DMC from back in the day. And I decided to go with the bright because of this. Because Sarah Stewart Hardman is a similar sampler, but it's got much deeper, richer colors. So I thought, you know what, I'll go with the bright for Ann. And then when I do this, that'll kind of be the difference, is that this one is, I don't know, darker, deeper, different, you know, different shades of reds and greens and stuff. It's very pretty. So that's that. And then last night I was going to put away, I still have all my fall stuff that I had been either thinking of starting or working on, and I was like, I need to put this away because there's no way I'm stitching on it anytime soon. I need to focus on whatever I'm in the mood for, and I'm not in the mood for fall anymore. So while I was putting it away, I had, I'm gonna move this, realized this was in my Christmas stuff. Farmstead Christmas. I do have a couple copies of this on my website if you're interested. It's an older Plum Street chart. And I had started it, I think last year, on 40 count needle and flax and Dora. And so last night, right before I went to bed, I just worked on the house a little bit. There's a lot more stitching than you would think in this, but it's not terribly big. I think I can finish this year. So that's fun. Actually, I was kind of on a roll last night. If I hadn't been so tired, I would have kept going, and I may work on that this weekend. So another thing I did, which I started, okay, so I think my last video was, I talked about Hobby House. And I got a really oddly cut piece of linen. It is R&R, shoot, is it still on here? R&R sheep straw. So it's this really long, it was like the end of a bolt or the end of some yardage they had. So it's like long and skinny. And I was like, well, I can use that for something. It's a pretty color. And I was kind of going through some of my charts, and this is another one I have on the website. I think I have a few copies of this. I could always order more if you guys want some. But Carriage House Samplings, Merry Christmas. I thought this is perfect for that piece of R&R. So this is the one that appealed to me the most, but I know myself and I would not finish this year. But I thought this is just as cute, and I have a shot at finishing that. So I'm doing this in NPI 926. And this is just a couple of nights. So I do know I can finish this. It's so pretty. And very fun. And these little I don't know what you call them, these little quilty kind of stars. They're all the same. You know, it's not a reproduction, so you don't have to make sure that there's miscounting in it. So it's real repetitive, almost like fill-in, and they kind of go pretty quick. So I think I can finish this. And I actually think I have a frame that'll fit it. And I kind of like that it's blue and white. It's kind of not typical Christmas colors, but it's very wintry. This would also be a good one. You know, really, you could replace the Merry Christmas and chart like your family name or whatever. You could put any holiday in there, really. Something to do with winter or, I don't know, anything. Anything. So both of them active. This one's more like Christmas trees. This one's more, you know, it kind of just looks like a coverlet or a Quaker. Excuse me. So you could totally change those letterings if you didn't want it to be Christmas. It's a good idea, isn't it? Okay. So what else do I have? Some of this stuff might go out of order. I don't know, out of order as far as what I normally do. So now I have some haul. Not a lot. I did get from the Facebook Homespun Needlework Sampler group. I did order the Fox and Rabbit exclusive for this month. Elizabeth Broadhead, 1833. They did a video on her history, which was really good. If I remember, I'll link everything. Once this video uploads is when I can attach links and things. And sometimes there's a little lag time. If you're one of the first people to watch this, you won't see the links, but I will try to remember to link everything. And I'll try and link their YouTube video with the history on it. They have a lot of history. The colors are just so good. And it's really a pretty packed sampler, which I like. I don't like a lot of open space in my samplers. It is done, it's all Fox, everything's Fox and Rabbit. So it's Weeks Dye Works threads and what do they call the linen? Baked clay? Oh, white clay. This is the linen. And this is the, look at those colors, are so great. And then you got little floss tags and very cute. Very cute. Big sampler. So everything, did I say this or was this in my brain? Everything from these exclusives will be released to the public at some point. So if you don't buy the kit, you can only, through the Facebook group, you can only purchase the kit. It's a way to support needlework shops and, you know, designers are supporting needlework shops and a way for you to get an exclusive if you're not a retreat goer. So it's kind of, that's kind of the thought process is that not all of us can go to retreats or afford retreats. And part of the fun thing about retreats is not just seeing the people, but the exclusives that are offered. So this is kind of a way that you can be in on an exclusive that not everybody gets. Support the shops. Different shops fulfill these kits every month or every, however often they release them. And when they release it, you can only buy it as the kit. So when the charts do get released at some point, if the kit's not in your budget, you can just buy the chart later, you know, in a year, a little over a year's time. And that one's very pretty. Fox and Rabbit does some very pretty reproductions. Okay, so just yesterday, I have been waiting for this like nobody's business. So I'm in the Country Sampler Threads of History Club. I'm not in the first round of people that gets the kits, but you always know when they're coming because you see them on social media. Vicki Jeanette sent me a picture of this a long time ago. And of course, because it's stitched on my linen, the model was done on Steinbeck. I love that I get the preview of these things from designers when they use my linen, but it is so hard to keep your mouth shut. Because this sampler is, I have been waiting. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get my hands on that sampler. So it's Mary Hill, 1854. This is the Threads of History Club for Country Sampler. Oh my God, do I love this. It's got a house with, well, it's just, first of all, it's got a house with a potted plant sitting on top of it. And then you've got horse and deer eating off that plant. The big bird, the flowers, the yellow border. I love, you know, yellow's not like my color. There's like basically no red in this, except for a couple berries here. I kind of love a sampler that kind of has a different color palette like this. It's a little out of the ordinary, not what I pick. I tend to pick samplers that have red, like a lot of us. I can't wait to stitch this. I need to dye myself some linen though. I called Country Sampler and I was like, hey, I'm on the list for Threads of History. You guys are using my linen and I really don't want to buy my linen back. Can I please purchase the kit without the linen because I don't want to pay retail for my own linen? And they were like, hey, no problem. So they sent me the chart. I bought the chart and I bought the floss. So I'm ready to go other than, I'm not sure if I have any Steinbeck linen ready to go. I have some dyed that needs to be ironed and cut and I'm going to need to put some aside for me because I really, that's calling to me big time. I have been waiting so long. Oh, it's fantastic. And it's not huge. It's 183 by 237. So stitched up on 40 count, it would be 9.2 by 11.9. I don't know if I'll do 40 or 36. I guess it depends on what base fabric I have done. Either way, oh God, do I love this. I just want to drop everything and stitch it. Fantastic. That Threads of History Club this year, I mean, every year they have a lot of good ones. Every once in a while, there's a pattern where I'm like, meh, you know, I could go either way. They knocked it out of the park this year. All these designers. Okay, so another thing I got, and I will link this as well. Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors sent me a copy of her newest, or her new, she started reproducing samplers. She's talked about it in her videos. I haven't sent her a message yet that I got it. Sylvia, I got it. I love it. This is Jane Scott, 1857. It is a Scottish sampler. It's so cute. And it would be so, I don't know if I'd say it would be quick to stitch up. That's a lot of alphabet stitching, but, you know, I love those red and green. And what a great one to stitch at Christmas, right? If you're not in the mood for Christmas, you got the vibe, right? You got the red and the green. You're using the colors of Christmas, but you're also doing a sampler. It's like a good hybrid piece to pick at Christmas. So this is fantastic. And when I was at Hobby House, I did buy some 103 spools in red and green because I have some red and green samplers I would like to stitch. And I'm loving those spools. She also sent me, so her website is runningwithneedlesandscissors.com. She also does a YouTube if you haven't watched it. And she does have one where she talks about her release. But she also sent me this pattern. And it's Noel buttons. And she sent me all the stuff to do the buttons. So they're little covered buttons on like a Scrabble. How cute is that? How easy is that? Yeah, little covered buttons on a Scrabble letter holder. So go check her out. This is a nice chart too. She has this professionally, you know, she's not printing these. These are professionally done in color. It's a good chart. Good chart. Okay, so Fat Quarter Shop. Fat Quarter Shop sends me stuff. And here's something I am going to keep that I love, but I thought I would show you in case you want one. Scrappiness is Happiness by Lori Holt. You can get this on Fat Quarter Shop, but I thought I would show you. This book is such eye candy. I'm not a quilter at the moment. I don't have time for that. Hold on a minute. Ugh, I had a pet problem. I don't have time for that right now, but one day I could get back into it or whatever. But I love books with good eye candy too. I love just flipping through magazines and books and dreaming. So I tabbed a couple pages that I thought I would show you. Look at this. The pictures in this are fantastic. Look at that bowl of tomatoes. That's good. And I just thought I'd show you a couple quilts I really liked. This is the pumpkin. There's a lot of quilt patterns in here. Pumpkin patched quilt. Not the greatest, you know, full photo of the quilt, but I could totally see myself doing that. I love this one. Oh, these pictures are great. Granny Star quilt. Look at that. So pretty. And her colors are very bright, but you could so easily, if you're kind of more of a primitive color type person, you could just totally convert these to whatever color palette you like. So cute. Okay, it's a big book. And I know other floss tubers have shown this too. 64 block. Okay, now I'm not showing you this because of the quilt, although it's very cute. But look at this photo. I love granny squares. I made a million granny square blankets. And she's got the little bowl of granny squares, the little suitcase of yarn, and look at, she's got the house coat glasses, eyeglasses. And she stitched one of her little flowers as a little adornment. There's the glasses. They're in a Riley Blake case. You can get those on Fat Quarter Shop. I actually think I may start selling those on my website because I love them. But for right now, I don't have them right now. So go to Fat Quarter Shop if you want some. And then this quilt I thought was pretty because it's almost Christmas and I could totally, this is skill level, I could do this. The Tall Pines quilt. Isn't that cute? Again, you could do it with deeper greens and stuff. You could do it with calicos and make it real country. You could do it with the brights. I love it. So this is a fantastic book. They have all of Lori's books on Fat Quarter Shop. But I will link that below. So it's Scrappiness is Happiness. Look at the back. That is a shopping cart I would love to check out with. So I love this. Love this book. 32 Scrappy Quilts to Fill Your House with Love. Fill your house with love. So I thought I would show you that. I actually have had this for a while, but I just haven't been doing my videos to be able to show you. Okay. So I'm going to show my giveaway earlier in the video, right? I do have the giveaway winners. I'll tell those at the end from when I gave away some of my linen. This morning, as I was getting ready to do this video, I was brushing my hair and my teeth and, you know, getting dressed and stuff. And I saw that Susan Standley, A Stitch in Time, had uploaded a new video. Now I have something in my eye. So I kicked it on to listen while I was getting ready. And, well, first of all, okay, I'm going to link this. 2 videos ago, she and a friend started a company doing these folios. And they had, I think it was last Friday, small amount, handmade stuff. They showed these folios. There's a whole video talking about them. But I think they had like 10 or 12 folios and then like, I don't know, 3 or 4 combo bags with like a project bag and a folio that matched together. And they plan on doing these quite often. They explain it much better in the video than I do. But you had to email because it's totally limited. So it's very much like the Stitch Folk bag. These are handmade items. They can't crank them out like a factory. Limited people get them, but they will have them often. And I could tell it was going to be really popular. So I set my alarm. Well, I was going to set my alarm for, I can't remember. It was 9 o'clock Pacific time. So it'd be noon my time. You had to send them an email. And so they did it like in order. And I totally spaced it. I forgot. I knew it was the day. That's the only way you can get these things is like be really prepared. Johnny on the spot. Set an alarm. You know, sometimes I have my phone going and the computer going and I see which one's working faster. And, you know, I usually use PayPal because, you know, sometimes you have something in your cart and somebody's just their internet connection's quicker. They got quicker fingers and they get these things. So it was funny because I was like all pumped, ready to send an email. And I actually, just by luck, was on my computer doing postage to send out orders. And I was listening to the local radio, and I heard the 12 o'clock, the top of the hour, they play the news. And I went, it's 12 o'clock. And I literally was like this, and I got a folio. I was shocked because it was like maybe 12:01 when I hit the send button. Maybe it wasn't even 12:01, because I tell you what, it was like panic in my heart. I thought, oh my God, I've been waiting like an entire week. I was going to be sitting there like this, waiting, and I got one. And she really did. They do go in order. They do it very fair. I didn't get this one because I do a Flosstube at all, because I know quite a few other people that tried to send in emails and did not get one. And they are much bigger Flosstubers than I am. But I got a folio. And I didn't go for the set because it just wasn't in my budget right now. This one they did in remembrance of a stitcher named Linda Wallace. And this one, the pattern is like, ah. So I got this. They're going to do different patterns. So there's little pouches here for your spools. And I don't have a lot of 103 yet. I love that stuff. But how great. So you can have all your 103 in your project bag or your plastic bag. So I got one. So that was part of my haul. Thank you, Susan. It was fantastic. And I can't remember her friend's name. They're called Sue and Lou. And they're going to do more in different patterns. I probably won't try again on the next round because I'd like to give other people a chance to. But what's going to do it is the fabric. I mean, whatever they choose for the style for their next round, who knows? It was very exciting. It was very much like I have a couple of Stitch Folk bags. I've tried 80 million times to get Stitch Folk bags, and I've only been able to get a couple, and one of them was for pre-order. But you just got to be patient and keep trying. And don't complain if you don't get one, because, like I said, they're not factories. They're handmade. They're somewhat one of a kind. It's just the way it is. They can't churn out very many, and they're doing all they can do. And my favorite quote is Teddy Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of joy. So you know what? Don't compare, and try and have fun trying. And at some point you will get one. I can guarantee it. If you try hard enough and you keep going back and don't be disappointed, you'll get one eventually. That's my soapbox on that. So anyway, I turned on Susan Stanley's video, and this is so funny because I was up again this morning at like 4:15, and I was pulling out, I knew what I was going to show, but I was pulling out all my stuff to put together. And I pulled out this thing for a giveaway, and right at the beginning of Susan's video, she's talking about what I'm going to give away. So that's why I'm going to show you now. And with the bag from Susan, and I will link her newest video. I'll link her newest video. Just go watch it. So she had done a video a few videos back. She'd be a good one to binge watch. She's very on the educational level of floss tubes. She's not like a whip parade kind of person, although she does show her stitching and quilting and all these things, but she's got a teacher's heart. So she teaches a lot, and she kind of has a subject she'll talk about. And I know I've mentioned it before, but she did a fantastic video a few videos back on houses and samplers. It's a really good video. And she'd had questions about that. And since that video, she purchased this book, which is Architecture from Early Samplers. This is written by Marcia Van, I can't ever remember her name. Marcia Van Valen. She is the lady that does Scarlet Letter. And Susan purchased this, I think she said on Thrift Books. Like I said, I was listening this morning. I haven't even finished the video. When I went to Country Sampler this summer and I stopped at Lynn's of Madison, I purchased this. I thought I had it, but I wasn't really sure. And so I just grabbed it thinking, if I have it at home, big deal. I'll use it as a giveaway. And I did. The minute I came home, I looked and I'm like, dang it, I do have that one. Because she has done a couple of books, and there's a couple that I don't have that I'm always looking for. I believe you can still get this on Scarlet Letter website. If not, it's out there, but I am almost positive that she still sells this. So go to scarlet-letter.com if you are interested. But it's got charts for all these houses in it and talks about the architectural style of the different houses and samplers. You can stitch them, and all of these houses are actually houses and buildings that are in the charts that she's reproduced. So you may even have some of these. They're not original. These are basically just the charts from, let me see if I can find one that might be, yeah, it'll take too long. Okay, well, we'll show this one because there's no way you're going to be able to see this chart. Esther Charlton, I know a lot of you know that chart. It's similar to a Blackbird design one that they have. So she talks about the building in that, and then you have the chart that's actually in the Esther Charlton. You could stitch it. So it's kind of fun to read through. It's good if you have a lot of Scarlet Letter charts with houses and things, because you can kind of go back and do a little research on when the architecture was from. And you could also use these if you wanted to design your own sampler. So this is actually my giveaway. Susan did not know I was giving this away. But I had it in my pile, which was hilarious that we were kind of on the same wavelength. So I think for this one, why don't you use for the keyword that I will search? Shoot. Hear me tapping my toes. What would be a good keyword? It's not going to get confused with other comments. Just write book. Just write the word book. That's easy. Everybody can spell it. I was going to say put architecture, but you know, you never know. That's a big word. So write book, and I will draw a name to send this, and I'll send it anywhere in the world if you want it. There was something else I was going to tell you about this, and now I can't remember. I have no idea what the heck I was gonna say. So yeah, write book. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I always forget to say you have to be a subscriber and like the video, because I have pulled up some people that have won before and they don't subscribe. And I know a lot more people watch than subscribe. So that just helps it helps my algorithm, but it definitely helps also the suggestions that you get when you go on YouTube, because you're also going to get suggestions for people that create content that are similar to mine. And it's a great way to, you know, help find new floss tubes that you might want to watch. So, okay, so that leads me to, God, I have a lot of stuff here. I'm already at 43 minutes. Hopefully I get through it all. That leads me to another YouTube. This is kind of like the Inspired by YouTube video. A couple of videos back, Nicola Parkman from Hands Across the Sea did a video where she mentioned, she was talking about Fitzwilliam Museum and some things that she had gotten from there. And she talked about this book, Sampled Lives, and it's samplers from the Fitzwilliam Museum, and I have the book. It's one of those sampler books, like she said, that is still available. A lot of sampler books are out of print and very expensive to get, and they go out of print quickly, and this one is not. You can go on the Fitzwilliam website and go to their store and order it. That's why I did the giveaway in the middle, because Scarlet Letter leads me to this. So I pulled out my book, and, you know, a lot of these books I have not necessarily read cover to cover. The great thing about these books is that you can just be in the mood to flip through something or read or look at pictures like a magazine. You can read a little bit and put it away and pick it back up again, and you don't have to read it cover to cover. So when she showed this, I pulled it out to flip through, and I realized how many of the samplers in here have been reproduced by Scarlet Letter. And I don't even think I tagged them all, but I thought I would show you some of the ones that are in the book that you can purchase to stitch. And I have a couple others. I pulled out some of my charts from Fitzwilliam that Scarlet Letter has done. Examplarery, I think, has also done a couple, but I would say Scarlet Letter has done the most reproductions that are in the Fitzwilliam Museum. And I think I read, because I did kind of open up and reread sort of the introduction, and I think this book has been, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that they had other versions of this book, and what they had basically said was, they talked about Betty Ring, which I've shown her books before, and how Betty Ring was kind of the first one to not only do books on samplers, but really do a deep dive into the history of the girls that stitched them, and sort of kicked off that whole, you know, not only do I want to stitch a reproduction sampler, I want to know as much as I can about the girl that stitched them, and kind of tied history to the sampler and not just a piece of needlework that's pretty. And basically in the introduction, this book is talking about, which I totally forgot, I must have read it before, how American samplers have a lot more clues and things in them as to the history. And their guess is that being a new country and sort of not having a history, that Americans really felt the need to preserve things like that and show those clues, where they live, where they're from, who their family is. Whereas a lot of English needlework does not necessarily do that. And so basically it says a lot of the English needlework, many times it's harder to find the girl when you're researching. But there's a lot more English needlework than American, because, you know, America's new. We're babies. So there's a lot of band samplers in here. The Fitzwilliam, they also said, has a large, extensive collection of the very early needlework, a lot of band samplers. Scarlet Letter has done a lot of them. I know they have a lot of the band samplers. Band samplers aren't really my jam. I know Nicola Parkman says that's like her favorite style. I have a few that I would like to have stitched, but they're not the sampler that really draws me in. But I love them. I appreciate them. So one of the ones is the Spot Motif Sampler. This is one that is in the Fitzwilliam, and that Scarlet Letter has, see, I have these all tabbed. Scarlet Letter has reproduced. Very pretty. This one is Jane Parrish. This is a band sampler. This one's actually kind of interesting. All that red stuff. It's red and green, but just the style of it is so different. That would be pretty on your sampler wall. This one I tabbed because Nicola had shown, they have printed some things, some cards and things with Elizabeth Bates, which is very similar to Jane Ballard. And you can get Jane Ballard, you can get the older chart from Porcupine Collection, but you can get the updated chart through 1884 Stitchery. She does a PDF or a hard copy. It's beautiful, big. I mean, this is like a lot of stitching. This is sort of like an heirloom piece, but very similar. I think it'd be fun to go there and see that one in person. This one, I actually have the chart. I pulled it. This is Ann Smith. Now, this is kind of interesting too, which I didn't realize. So they have similar charts done by different girls. They're kind of showing, you know, different regions and things. Oh, this is Ann Smith. Okay, this is done by, reproduced by Scarlet Letter. But Ann Smith, which any of you that do stuff, oh, shoot, hang on. Dropped my chart. Okay, so Ann Smith, you can get that from Scarlet Letter. I'll show you the Ann Smith 1767. It's pretty darn old. Okay, so Ann Smith has actually done, which I didn't realize till I was flipping through here, 2. She did a second sampler, which I don't think has been reproduced. If it has, let me know, but oh, I wish someone would reproduce it because that would be fun to have both of her samplers together. So if any of you like to reproduce museum pieces, get on that. Okay, so M.A. Tipper, they do have a section that goes into Bristol samplers. This is a Bristol that Scarlet Letter has. Very cute. I do not own that one, but that's on my list to buy from Scarlet Letter. I still have a list of Scarlet Letters that I don't have. This is a band sampler, Dorcas Haynes. This one also Scarlet Letter has done. That's gorgeous. Look at those colors. Now that's a band sampler I would do, for sure. And the last one I tabbed is, oh God, I'm not gonna be able to say this, M. Queertier, 1799. It is a Quaker. This is also one that I do not own. That is Scarlet Letter that I would love to purchase. Very pretty. So this book does go into the different samples and styles, and they have not just samplers, but some different pieces in here. It's a great book to buy. It's not terribly expensive. They ship, I think, everywhere. I guess you'll have to go on the website and look. But the photography is beautiful. Look at this. I'm a sucker for anything with that Tudor rose. I mean, the Tudors really know how to brand themselves, right? I mean, people everywhere, I think, still know what the Tudor rose is. Okay, so that's that. So I thought I would show that because it kind of got my brain going when Nicholas showed it. Here's 2 other... They're not in the book, but 2 other ones that Scarlet Letter has done from the Fitzwilliam. If you go on the Scarlet Letter website and just search Fitzwilliam, you can see all the ones that they've done that are Fitzwilliam reproductions. This is Anne Hare. Again, packed. I love that. I love those deer. I love that grass. I love grass. Anne Hare sampler of 1762. Very pretty. And I know I've shown this one before, but Ruth Batchelor, 1717. This is also a Fitzwilliam museum chart. The colors in this are fantastic. This is definitely one to get up. It's got Florentine eyelet, satin rice stem, and cross. Oh, it's just a reason to go to Cambridge, am I right? All right, so I thought I would talk about that a little bit. How much time have I? 53. Okay, maybe I'll go like 10 more minutes. I have a lot here to show. So I was kind of also thinking of kind of these older samplers and older reproductionists like Scarlet Letter. Really gets me wanting to go through all my stash of old charts. And I've shown a lot of stuff before from Examplarery, and I thought I would show you a few Examplarery charts that I have. I have a few on my list that I would love to get. Joanne Harvey has been doing very much like Scarlet Letter reproduction samplers. She's a Michigan gal, at this point an older lady, I'm sure, a seasoned stitcher. She, in the last couple of years, opened, so many people were wanting a lot of her charts that she opened an Etsy shop. And I've mentioned before, she only sells in kit form. So you can kind of find the kits on eBay once in a while or the secondhand market, but there's kind of no need to because you can go through her. It does take, once it's ordered is when she puts the kit together. So it can take like 2 to 3 weeks to get it, but she packages it beautifully. I would say that I have one beef about the kits. Now I would prefer to purchase, just the chart. And here's the beef. Where's the beef? Here's the beef. Okay, so this is like a kit that I have. This is Frances Canby. And these are going to be hard to show, so I have these little leaflets that I'll show you. This is Frances Canby sampler. Oop, it's a little blurry. There we go. Oop, Okay. So she does have a little bit of history on where the chart is from. She has a lot of American samplers. So at some point when I do a American sampler video, you'll see a lot of these charts come up again. Okay, so she has the kit, right? Let's see, now I'm rambling. So this is how you get it. The fabric, I think, is probably Weichel. I'm not sure. It's not a linen that I enjoy. So the linen for me, swap right out. The colors are all like this. They're all, it's beautiful. She knots them together. This is an older kit, but they're all still kind of done like this. The problem is, and this is a warning, if you try to get any on eBay, is that she doesn't, they're all done in DMC. She doesn't have silk kits. I don't know if she ever did, but she doesn't now. So she names the DMC like it says camel tan, and then it tells you how many strands are in your kit, 14. So you have to figure out which tan is your camel tan. It doesn't say like DMC 611 or DMC 400. So if you lose any of those threads or you put it down and go back to it, it's going to be really hard to replace your threads. One thing I have thought of doing, now I have bought used kits where people have written the DMC color on there. I don't know if at some point she offered to give you the numbers. She may still, I don't know. One thing I think would be fun is, or I may do with some of these, because I don't do samplers quickly anymore, is to actually do like a conversion and just match these to either overdyes or silk, and or match them to my DMC. I have a DMC thread card book, and actually find out what the numbers are, and have a thread list. If I ever do that, I'll share it with you guys, if I'm ever stitching one and have a thread list. But that would be my only beef, is you don't get the DMC number with the kits. It's kind of old school. I think she's kind of been doing this so long, she does it the way she does it, and that's the way you have to get it, which is totally fine. That's up to her. So a couple years ago, I went to an estate sale in Gaylord, Michigan, which is north, a little inland. I'm near the water. It's inland in Michigan and north. And I went to this estate sale because, you know, I pick stuff for my barn sales and all that stuff. And I went super early. It's like a 45-minute drive, and super early and got in line. It was actually during COVID, because back then they were doing estate sales, but they were letting really small amounts of people into a house at once. And I think I was like 5th in line. I mean, I left in the dark to get in line because these groups were small. And this estate sale, in the preview, there was a ton of samplers. There was antiques. There was reproductions that were stitched. The woman had a extensive antique coverlet collection. I bought, I think, 2 or 3. They were only charging like $60 a coverlet. If you know about coverlet, antique coverlets, that it's like unheard of. It was a phenomenal estate sale. It was in an old Victorian home. So I got there and I stood in line. And of course, when you're looking at estate sales, they show the rooms and the places, but you can't always like tell where to run to first. I get in, I think it might have been in the second group. It might have been in the first. But a few people got in, whatever. A few people got in before me. And as I walk in this house, I see this man and woman running down the stairs with armloads of samplers. They had grabbed them all. That was what they were there for. They ran in. They grabbed every single friggin' sampler. I was so miffed. You're not supposed to do this, but I kind of thought of going up to him and being like, "Are you going to resell those? Because I will buy some." She had some great samplers. So then it was like, oh, all this effort, and I walked in and went, wah, wah, wah. And I'm like, well, maybe I can find something somewhere in this house, because the lady was a stitcher, and I was also kind of hoping maybe she'd have some of these older patterns. Couldn't find the patterns anywhere. It was not a total waste. I got the antique coverlets. That was great. And had I had more money, I would have bought a lot more. Anyway, one thing I did find was she had stitched the Ann Stevens sampler. Definitely did it out of the kit. So I bought it for $7. And I thought, well, that's one I don't have to stitch. And it's Examplarery. It's just kind of like a little marking sampler. That's all I got. If you guys had seen, they had to be like resellers or antiquers or something, because they were like this running down the stairs. And I'm like, ugh. That's the thrill of the chase though, right? You just never know. Sometimes you're the one running down the stairs with all the antique samplers. Sometimes you're standing there with a $7 reproduction, which is fine, because comparison is the thief of joy. And I got a lot of joy doing that anyway. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of my, just a few, because now we're hitting up on an hour. Some of the ones I would like to stitch. This is the Sarah Irving sampler. This is from the Peabody Essex. And I also did find a lot of some of these are newer ones that I have gotten. Again, I feel like I do commercials for 1884 Stitchery all the time. She had that stitcher that had passed away that she had purchased this monster amount of stash. And there was a lot of samplers, and she had a lot of Examplarery kits listed. And so I was able to snag quite a few from her. That's another resource because she does basically she does 1884 Stitchery, does re-release some of these older patterns, but they also sort of have some gently used stash or like new old stuff. So that's a website every once in a while I'll kind of peruse and see what she's got and do a search for samplers and see. Because sometimes she has the old ones that I'm looking for. I'll link her too. I keep talking about her every single time, but it's a great resource. This one is a Norwich sampler from Connecticut. I have a lot of ancestry in Connecticut, so this totally appeals to me. Boop, boop. The pictures aren't that great. She used to have like catalogs and things where you could get these little leaflets, and I have a bunch of them way back. Okay, this one I was dying to get. I actually got this one on eBay quite a few years ago. This is a relative. I'm not joking. This is a relative in my family tree. A sideways relative, a cousin. We have a grandfather in common. Polly Whitmarsh sampler. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Why have I not started it? I don't know. I was hot to trot to win this auction on eBay, and I did. That was before Examplarery opened their Etsy shop, because she does sell this kit in her Etsy shop. So this is from Massachusetts, and now I'm proficient in Queen Stitch, but it does have Queen Stitch in it. Maybe that's one reason I didn't pick it up right after I got it. The point is I have it. That's the point. It's an option. Polly Coffin. Years ago, you know what? I got this at Goodwill for $3. This kit. Polly Coffin. I think this is, I want to say Nantucket. It's a Nantucket Island sampler. How fun is that? I know this one's on her Etsy site, or Etsy. Oh, I'll link it. Her Etsy, whatever, shop. Oh, I've been at this too long. Mercy Hopkins. This one is totally, this is one, another like packed sampler that I would love to do sometime soon. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And her newer kits, she usually has this little band and then stuff. It's all twisted. It's very pretty, but what's another one? I'll show you a couple more. I have more, but this is an original. This is also shoot, I must not have brought that one. I think I had this one too, but I don't have the kit there. Hannah Norton. God, do I have this one? I think I do. This one I love too. I think this is in my pile, like start it soon. God, I don't know why it's not focusing. How pretty is that? Oh, I love it. This one is an original and I love it. Love it. This is the Embroideress. This one, you do see this one come up on eBay. Don't ever pay crazy prices for these. Same thing with Scarlet Letter. If you're on eBay, some people write out of print. They charge ridiculous prices for Scarlet Letter charts that are still like $7 and $10 on the Scarlet Letter website. And you will see out of print Scarlet Letter, you know, chart, and they'll be wanting $30, $40, $50, $60, $100 for something that you can buy for $7. So do your research if you're on the secondary market, because you can get taken quite a bit. This is one I've seen listed as out of print and listed for a lot of money, and you can buy the kit on Etsy. But it is based on an antique, and it is an original, and it's gorgeous. Those are kind of top. Polly Whitmarsh, the Embroideress. Yeah, there's a few of them. I'll show you a couple of the ones I'm looking for. Well, no, they're not all ones I'm looking for. She also has the Chase, which I've shown before, the big kit. That is a one-day to do. And the Laura Standish sampler. That's the first American sampler. She is the daughter of Miles Standish, who was on the Mayflower. I may do that. I don't have the kit. I may do it at some point because it's kind of an important sampler in sampler history, but honestly, it doesn't appeal to me. It's just not my jam. But at some point, I may end up buying it just so that it's in my stash and I can do it. This one I'd love to get. This one's on her Etsy, the Sarah Toole. Toole? It's a Rhode Island, which I love Rhode Island samplers. The Ann Amos sampler. I think this is also a kit on her Etsy. This one is not. This is one I've been looking for. The Shepherdess. Very pretty. Elizabeth Cross. This is not. I need to ask her if she would maybe kit this up for me. Elizabeth Cross sampler. It's all pink and red. It's so pretty. I really want this one. And there's another one. I have it on my phone and I can't remember. I can't remember her name. It's an Elizabeth something. She did one that's fantastic, and it's like got a big brick house in the middle, and then I think it's a strawberry, is it a strawberry border? I can't remember the name. That's another one I'd like to message her and see, hey, is there any way you can print this or kit it up for me? Because those two, Elizabeth Cross and, God, is it Elizabeth? I just totally forgot. Yeah, Elizabeth Cross. And I think the other one's Elizabeth, something with a C. Oh, it's fantastic. It's got this big yellowish colored brick house in the middle, and I would love to do that one. So I have a few more in here. I'll probably show them with my American sampler video that I'll do one day, because a lot of Examplarery are American samplers. So that's kind of it. I kind of thought I would get back to the sampler thing that I started with, because I had a little more time to actually sit here and do a video and a little more time to blabber on like I normally do. And you guys can tell I'm excited. I'm back in the swing of things. You will see regular videos from me every 2 weeks. And, you know, that's it. I'm not going to do a ton of shop updates unless I need to. I'm hoping to release a color in December. We'll see. Don't hold me to it. What else? Everything in my website. Now, I may have missed some stuff, so you may go on there and order stuff that I don't have ready to go right now, especially if it's a full yard. Right now, a lot of stuff is showing as sold out, and I did that on purpose. Because I'm almost caught up with these orders that have been waiting forever and a day. I'm finally getting enough 40 count, and I think I'm going to have enough 40 count to also dye some to put in the shop. My plan is this week, just keep checking the website and watch my Instagram. I might be able to add some 40 count Thornfield, maybe some 40 count Dirty Teacup. I know I have some 40 count dirty teacup because I over dyed by accident for the customers that their orders were waiting for that. So I know I'll have a little dirty teacup. Yeah, I know I've got some 36 count that's done. It just needs to be packaged. Watch my Instagram because probably not this weekend because I'm going to try and kind of take the weekend off. But over the next week, you will see my inventory going back up. And if it's there, it's going to be ready to ship. So it won't necessarily ship that day or the next day, but it should ship within a week. Yeah, that's it. I do have some shops that have recently been sent linen. I'll put those on my Instagram because now I can't remember. I know Kathleen Littleton, Cross Stitch Antique, she has a shop. I know she posted the other day that she has uploaded some to her website. I know Shepherd's Needle in Arkansas, Anne, has been posting that she has some inventory of needle and flax. You can contact her. And I know there's a couple others. Just watch the Instagram. I will try and be very good about uploading that. Or, you know, letting you guys know. Gosh, I hope I can remember to link everything that I talked about. We'll see. I'm going to go run errands. It's a gray day. If I told you I was going to mail something today on Friday and I'm not, it's Veterans Day. And I didn't realize. So anything I said would mail on Friday is probably mailing on Monday. One last thing. Happy Veterans Day. Okay, my dad and my brother are both veterans. They do not watch this. But just in case one day you turn this on, I always text or call them for Veterans Day. But my brother served in Iraq in the Army, and he is technically a disabled vet. He's lost some hearing and had some back issues and stuff, but he's fine. He's working and doing his thing. And so happy Veterans Day to my brother, John. And then my dad is a veteran. He is 82. And right after high school, he joined the Navy. So he is a Navy veteran. Then during Vietnam, he did go to Vietnam with the Army. So he also served with the Army. And then when I was a kid, one of the ways he put me through Catholic private school was he joined the National Guard. So when I was growing up, my dad, he actually did a couple of, I don't know, enlistments with the National Guard. You know, he would do the 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a summer and go down to San Diego to service time, but that gave him the extra income to pay for private school. So my dad is a veteran of 3 branches of the military. So happy Veterans Day to my dad. He's actually very proud of that, and which he should be. So yeah, so if you're a veteran or have veterans in your family, happy Veterans Day, because that is today. And there's no mail. So I'm not going to have to run to the post office as part of my errands today. And now I'm just rambling. So basically I'm going to say I'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know when this will upload. It is like 8:30 in the morning, I think now. And hopefully it'll be up by this evening. If I run errands, it should upload quicker. I don't have great internet at my house, and I just upload it from my phone. So if I go into town, a lot of times I catch better internet and it'll upload quicker. So that's that. And I will talk to you soon. I'm very glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in my kitchen in front of my hutch. And I hope you're glad I'm back too. And I will talk to you in 2 weeks. So bye.